Hello everyone, it's day 59 and today is May 2024. I have Indian Express newspaper and I'm on Indian Express explained page and there are two important articles. One is regarding the banks and another is regarding the El Nino and anticyclonic system. So we'll try to cover both of these articles one by one. So let us see what the first article, which is related to the banking system and why banks can't seek LOCs, that is line of credit, letter of credit, to stop debtors from going abroad. So let us see. And There was a defaulter, money defaulter. I think there was an act regarding. So there was an act regarding fugitive economic offender. So let us see. The Bombay High Court has held that the public sector banks cannot recommend or request the issuance of lookout circulars, not letter of credit, lookout circulars LOCs against loan defaulters, and has set aside the provision of central government's office memorandum that empowered PSBs to do so. On April 23, a division bench of Justice Gautam Patel, who has since retired, and Justice Madhav J. Jamdar quashed LOCs issued to restrain PSB debtors from traveling abroad, saying they are strong arm tactics used to get around legal processes and violative of fundamental rights guaranteed under Article 14 and 21 of the Constitution. So the legal challenge, the LOCs under challenge were issued by the Bureau of Immigration of Ministry of Home Affairs, and allowed the authorities of at any port of departure to prevent a debtor of to a PSB from leaving India. The LOCs, that is lookout circulars, were based on OM office memoranda issued by the Ministry from October 27, 2010 onward. In September 2018, a ground was introduced to issue an LOC to restrain a person from going abroad if their departure was detrimental to the economic interest of the country. The following month, a new clause was introduced empowering the chairperson of the State Bank of India and the managing director and the chief executive officer of all other PSBs to request immigration authorities to issue LOCs against default borrowers. So the default borrowers included not only the borrowers but also the guarantors for repayment of loans and the principal officers or directors of corporate entities in debt. So, petitioner's argument, the aggrieved petitioners contested the portion of OMs that allowed PSBs to request an LOC against a defaulting borrower. Senior advocate Birendra Saraf, who is now Advocate General for Maharashtra, argued that OMs infringed upon petitioners' fundamental rights, including the right to life with dignity under Article 21. The petitioners argued that the economic interest of India cannot be same as financial interest of a PSB, and that the government's action was a classic case of improper and impermissible classification between public sector and private banks, both of which are regulated by the Reserve Bank of India. So, center's submission. Senior advocate Anil Singh, who was additional solicitor general at that time, argued for the MHA, that is Ministry of Home Affairs, that deprivation of life or personal liberty can be done only through procedure established by law, and the impunged circulars contained such checks and balances. Singh argued that the steps were taken after the surge in the number of willful defaulters and economic offenders, some of whom have fled the country after usurping public money. So, what the court said, the court observed that the government had failed to show that debt had been recovered because the person has been denied permission to travel abroad. The LOCs boil down to nothing but a strong arm tactic to bypass or leapfrog what public sector banks clearly see as in inconvenience and irritant. The court of law, it said, Viraj Chetan Shah versus Union of India and another. So the court held that the fundamental right to travel abroad cannot be curtailed by executive action without any government statute or controlling statutory provision. The fact that the public sector bank is directly concerned with the recovery of debt and is yet armed with the unilateral power only makes matters worse. The right to Article 21 cannot be abrogated in this fashion. Here, the public sector bank becomes judge and executioner at once. In effect, the chairpersons, MDs, and CEOs have been elevated to the same status as high ranking police officers. This is simply incomprehensible, the court said. The court noted that except SBI, There is no PSB among top five banking companies. Top five banking companies. It noted that if a borrower arranges its or her or his affairs so that the dealings are only with non-public sector banks, no LOC can ever be issued against the borrower. But if there is even one public sector bank, then there is a risk of an LOC being issued. So it is not that only PSBs were affected. The court said the entities that Nirav Modi and Vijay Mallya, whom the center had mentioned in its written submissions controlled, also had exposure to other banks. It said the court disagreed with the wholly artificial distinction between those who borrow from one or more public sector banks and those who borrow only from private sector banks. Thus, the inclusion of any PSBs is ultra vires Article 14 as being an impermissible and invalid classification and being manifestly arbitrary, the court held. So, what happens now? The court clarified that its order would not affect any existing restraint order issued by a competent authority, court, debt recovery tribunal, or investigative or enforcement agency. The invalidation of present LOCs cannot and will not affect such orders, it said. The court said banks were always at liberty to apply to any court or tribunal for an order against an individual borrower, guarantor, or indebted person, restraining them from traveling overseas. Banks can also invoke their powers under the Fugitive Economic Offenders Act 2018 where applicable. The bench turned down the center's request to stay the operation of the verdict, but the center has the option of challenging the judgment in the Supreme Court. The High Court also clarified that its judgment will not prevent the central government from framing an appropriate law and establishing procedure consistent with Article 21 of the Constitution. So this was about the lookout circular notice and how it is violative of the fundamental rights that is being provided in the Constitution under Part 3. So coming to the next important article, it is about the El Nino and anticyclonic system and why a large part of India experienced heat wave in April. So let us see. So for 26 days this April, either a small pocket or a considerably large geographical area in India experienced heat wave condition, according to the data provided by the Indian Meteorological Department. While the southern peninsular and the southeastern coastal areas have been worst affected, the northern plains are yet to experience heat wave conditions this season. On Tuesday, parts of the Gangetic, West Bengal, Jharkhand, and Odisha witnessed severe heat waves and high temperatures. For instance, temperatures touched 47.2 degrees Celsius, 10.4 degrees Celsius more than the normal temperature in Kalaikunda in West Bengal's Paschim Medinipur district. So, which area are prone to the heat waves? So, the heat wave conditions are generally experienced over north, northwest, central, and east India and northeast peninsula, together called the core heat wave zone, during the summer season of March to June and occasionally in July. Rajasthan, Punjab, Haryana, Chandigarh, Delhi, West Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Odisha, Vidarbh in Maharashtra, parts of Gangetic, West Bengal, coastal Andhra Pradesh, and Telangana are the most heat wave prone states or regions. When does IMD declare a heat wave? IMD declares a heat wave when maximum temperature at a station in plains reaches 40 degrees Celsius or more, 37 degrees Celsius or more in coast, and 30 degrees Celsius or more in the hills. The severity of heat wave is determined by its departure from normal temperature. Normal heat wave is declared if the departure is 4.5 to 6.54 degrees Celsius. A severe heat wave is when the departure is more than 6.4 degrees Celsius. A heat wave could also be declared based on actual maximum temperature. If it is more than 45 degrees Celsius, a heat wave is declared. If it is more than 47 degrees Celsius, a severe heat wave is declared. And what led to the heat waves this April? So, large parts of India have witnessed heat waves and high temperatures for two reasons. One, 2024 is a year that began with an El Nino state. The El Nino year weather pattern refers to an abnormal warming of the surface waters in the equatorial Pacific Ocean, which leads to extreme heat in many parts of the world and ocean. It developed in June 2023, and generally, the years which follow El Nino event experiences extreme temperature, harsh, multiple, and extended heat wave spells, and a lack of pre-monsoon rainfall. Two, the persistent presence of anticyclonic system over the southern peninsula and southeastern coastal areas is also partly responsible for a very warm April. So these high pressure systems, which exist at an altitude of about 3 kilometers in the lower atmosphere and extend between 1000 to 2000 kilometer in size, push the air underneath them towards the earth in a process called air subsidence. As a result, the forcefully sunk air generates more heat on the surface closer to the earth. The presence of anticyclonic airflow also favors wind flow from land towards the sea and prevents the incoming cooler sea breeze, which is otherwise responsible for cooling the land from time to time. So, what has been the extent of heat waves? Except for 4 days, that is April 1, 10, 11, and 12, a small pocket or a considerably large geographical area in the country experienced either heat wave or severe heat wave conditions, according to the IMD. The worst affected has been the southern peninsular India and the southeastern coast area, including Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, and Tamil Nadu, along with the large number of Karnataka, Kerala, Sikkim, Bihar, Jharkhand, and Gangetic West Bengal. The Odisha and Gangetic West Bengal have remained under heat wave to severe heat wave conditions since April 15 and April 17 respectively. So climatologically, a heat wave spell can last anywhere between 3 to 7 days, but the ongoing spell in Odisha and Gangetic West Bengal has continued for more than 14 days. The inclusion of Kerala and Sikkim in the list of heat wave affected areas indicate that the temperature are rapidly rising during summer over regions outside the CHZ as well. So Mr. Rajivan, former Secretary Ministry of Earth Sciences, told Indian Express the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, that is IPCC, reports and analysis indicate that heat wave in India shall no longer remain contained over only those regions traditionally believed to be prone. So that was about the this heat wave condition that is currently going on in the Indian subcontinent region, and there is also another important development that took place regarding the COVID vaccine. So the company which manufactured this Covishield has admitted in the Supreme Court that their vaccine can lead to the heart attack or brain stroke. So let us see. Pharmaceutical giant AstraZeneca has said that its AZD1222 vaccine, which was made under license in India as Covishield, could cause low platelet counts and cause the formation of blood clots in very rare cases. So, what AstraZeneca has said, AstraZeneca spoke about TTS in court documents following suit against it in the United Kingdom. The company is being sued over health claims related to the vaccine, which was developed along the University of Oxford in 2020. Okay, so what are the symptoms of TTS? TTS is linked to a range of symptoms, including breathlessness, pain in the chest or limbs, pinhead size, or red spots or bruising of the skin in area beyond the injection site, headaches, etc. The website of Johns Hopkins Medicine says thrombosis can block the blood flow in both veins and arteries, and complications depend on whether the thrombosis is located. The most serious problem include the stroke, heart attack, and serious breathing problems. Okay, so thrombosis, again it came in news, thrombosis. So we need to look in, because I have seen this word I think in second time in past weeks. So that's all from today's newspaper. So we'll meet tomorrow with another important article from tomorrow's newspaper. So till then.